But I'm still waiting now for these gurus, all right, who are just really, really geeked up about sealing your engine and jumping down people's ass, you know, about it. And if anybody asks, like, hey, you know, should I seal my engine? All of a sudden they come out, they're all up in everyone's mix. Yeah, seal it, seal it, seal it. But for whatever reason, I'm doing this entire series on it, just slapping that shit down, and I hear crickets. Hey, all, it's Nitro Nerds here, and this is fact number 4 in our effervescent video series, Sealing a Nitro Engine. For those that might be new, the intent of this video is to provide some awareness surrounding the facts to help you analyze all of your options, okay, when it comes to sealing your engine. It's that simple. A latent effect of this is to let you and everybody know that, you know, from my perspective, bully-like tactics toward newbies and, you know, or against proponents of open dialogue when it comes to consultation with newbies, that's not going to be tolerated.
What would you do? What would you do if we rolled on you? So what would you do? What would you do if we rolled on you? What would you do? What would you do if we rolled on you? Yes. What would you do? What would you do? Dirty Red, I comes on the sneak, hitting niggas low with the caviar flow as I creep through the street, peeping niggas from death row. Bet you I know which one of y'all make the best hoe. So let me break it down as I'm lost in the mist. Take word of advice and don't come fucking with this. It ain't a joke, niggas choke from the smoke that I blaze. Purple haze, you'll be dazed in the stun. I put you on your back, nigga, what? I am the guts. In the doggy-dog world, I never hung with must. Only nuts in the clip and dick in your mouth. The year is 95 and I'm running the house. So tell me, what can you do? Nigga, what can you do? Nigga, what could you do if me and a few of my homies came through, dumping real on you trick-made, bitch-made niggas? What could you do? What could you do if we rolled on you? Yeah, so what would you do? What would you do if we rolled on you? What would you do? What would you do if we rolled on you?
So let's quickly cruise through the facts today. Be careful who you listen to, because you're going to find that people out there, well, they'll flat out stretch the truth.
Can't be rock, can't be shook, we hot. When will you name us look? Can't get drunk, can't the light, can't get started, can't get right. Turn down the music, turn up my mic. When will you name us look?
I have over 25 engines of, you know, low end ready to run to the, you know, considered some of the best in the world. I've never had an air leak from the factory.
I was raised in the hood, but what the fuck, nigga?
The people that tell you to seal your engine, right, before anything else, right off the bat, they tell you you have to seal it. You can't go any further. You can't tune until you seal it. 100% of those people can't tune. Why do I say that? We've never seen it. Today's fact is this. My dog Winston, he likes meat. There you go. Act like you have some sense. Okay, nice and easy. Nice and easy. There you go. Look at that. Real motherfucking Woo! Real motherfucking Now, this is something I tell you because, excuse me, that truly is today's fact. On the engine sealing front, it's not so much a fact. In other words, this is something that really can't be proven, but damn, think about this. There are guys out there who claim that their engines have doubled in power when they sealed it, right? Many of them have said, excuse me, the engine couldn't be tuned until it's sealed, blah, blah, blah. So basically, this is kind of that night and day scenario from pre-seal to post-seal. Completely different engine. All this newfound power. The engine went from meh to, what is it they call it again?
Fucking animal, dude. This thing's a freaking animal, man.
After they sealed it. So that is the truth, so to speak, on which we ask this question here. Are engine manufacturers really that stupid? I mean, come on, man. Let's work through this case study, all right? Engine X company, right? They have a design team. They hire all these expensive consultants and they sit through these think tanks and they do everything they can to squeeze out an extra 3 to 5% power from their engines. I'm telling you, they pop the champagne, they send hot chicks out on road shows to major events with their engine, telling all they got this extra 5% power, and that's a lot, all right? 5% power versus this 50%, 35%. Enter the champion. Let's say Jam Racer 1 or insert your favorite forum blowhard here. Hey, I've got the answer. I've got the panacea for you. All you got to do is seal that shit. And so Engine X company begins sealing their engines at the factory, which of course, as we understand, results in 30 to 50%, doubling the power, whatever, all that crap you read. So it seems to me that sealing an engine, right? A company, and I am no expert in engine designs or running a business, per se, with respect to manufacturing of engines, any of that. I'm just a chump with the camera, but it seems to me now that a company would notice the following by gaining, doubling their power, 30 to 50% additional power, simply by sealing it. I think that these benefits would be realized. Increased customer satisfaction, of course. I mean, obviously, a radical change like this, it's going to make them more of a market demand, word's going to get around, etc., etc. It's branding. Now let's talk on the flip side, liability. Think about how many engines HPI probably takes back a year. I can tell you, this past year, I know 10 to 12 people who returned their engine. I'm not going to say, whether they should have or not, or whose fault it is, or anything like that. I just know it happened. And I know that HPI replaced, I think, almost all of them, guys. All of them. Simply because they wanted to just move on, of course, right? So you reduce this overhead of giving in and giving a new engine, or even if you don't, just the time and the staff you have to pay to handle this, these types of liability claims. You go back to part one. Remember that this gentleman was, by his own admission, he tuned his engine on the first 2 tanks. Either that or he flat out lied about, the results he saw from sealing. I'm just going to say it. But let's take his word for it. So, in that post, and you go back to HPISavageForum.com, if you take a look at that post, someone asked him about the warranty, and this guy was like, oh, I don't care. I don't think just a little bit of silicone seal on the back plate is going to affect the warranty. And I just, all right. It shows you right there what little this guy knows, because you put fuel through an engine and all bets are off at that point. I'm sorry. If I owned an engine company, that's how it would be. I'd give you explicit instructions. Here's what you do. If you deviate from this in any way, shape, or form, don't bother calling. But once again, these companies, they do assume that liability, it would be gone. The engine's already sealed. They don't have to worry about it. And did I mention branding? Here's something that I think I've written before. I'm not sure if I really touched on it in a video. You guys that race know this for sure. The difference between like a race spec engine and just your average ready to run engine is pretty simple. Race engines are put up against one another. All right? There's no bullshit. There's none of this right here. It's what you see is what is. You don't do that in bashing, right? Very seldom you're going to see someone put like a Traxxas 3.3 against, you know, K-Star 4.6 or whatever. But my point is, race engines, it's no joke. I mean, it is you show up or you go home. So think about doubling your power, what that would do for a company, right? All they got to do is seal it. And now I say all they have to do because I'll let you in on just a little something. I know a guy who works for a pretty prominent engine manufacturing company. I don't want to use his name. I'll tell you this. I spoke with him on this very subject, and we kind of sat. He did a little math on what it would cost his company to seal the backplate, the carburetor, and all that, you know, whatever you see in those little forums. And it was something like $2 and change per engine. And that's everything. That's labor, that's product, that's liability, right? Because they're probably going to F some engines up, sealing, you never know. So $2 and some change, and you get all of that. Are they really that stupid? Once again, in my world, it comes down to either believing a designer of an engine who you see him out there just, you know, with ballistic engines versus this crap.
Fucking animal, dude.
It's a pretty easy choice for me, at least. Hopefully this sheds a little bit of light for you to ponder. If you've hung on thus far, the only thing I can say is good for you. As a primer to the next part, I'm going to ask two questions. I might have asked these prior, but I'm unsure. Number one, do you know what an engine that has an air leak, what does it sound like? And number two, have you ever seen an engine with an air leak to where you see it and you hear it run and you say, ooh, that doesn't sound right? It is then sealed and you say, now that sounds right. I haven't. And I told you all, I'm going to get real deep on this. So what I thought I would do for you is show you an engine that I just happened to be breaking in, showing signs of what I can assure you, because I've proven it, many people would say you need to seal at this point, and you know where I am in the break-in process and all that. And I'm going to show you how I don't seal it, and then how it rips ass.